Welcome to the EOB podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new opening this week. I'm Ben No, and joining me is Sen Duong. So Sen, welcome to another podcast, and thanks for joining us to whoever is listening right now.
All right, let's get to it.
Okay, let's get to it. Last week, and we have just one new release. Wide release is the horror movie starring Aaron Eckhart, and it kind of did just about where we had it. But before we get to that, let's jump right into the number one movie over the weekend, which is Moana. It pulled in about 28.3 million in the second weekend, about roughly 50% drop off. The domestic gross right now is 119 million. Worldwide, it's 177 million.
Yeah, which is pretty good, although the 50% drop off is kind of high for a film that's so well reviewed. So we'll have to see how it does in the following weeks if it continues to drop by that much.
Yeah, but wasn't it that normally that the weekend after Thanksgiving is kind of slowish, maybe?
It could be, but I mean, you have films like The Arrival still holding up pretty well, and Moana is one of those films that's well reviewed. I think the cinema score is pretty high too, right?
Yeah, I think it was an A. Yes.
Yeah, so you would think that it would hold up a bit better, like maybe, but 50%, kind of a little bit high. But we'll have to see in the following weeks what the drop off is.
Yeah, I think it is because of the week following after Thanksgiving. I think that's where, because we're seeing these huge drop off numbers across the board for all these movies. I think it's just this weekend. I mean, this past weekend.
Yeah, you could be right, because I think Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them had an even bigger drop off.
Right. And speaking of number two.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It came in number two. It's about, when we say in the last podcast that the rankings will be relatively the same.
Yeah.
It is about where we had it, and as you said, it experienced a huge drop-off, nearly 6%, pulled in 18.5 million in its third weekend. Domestic gross is 183 right now, and a worldwide take is 607, so
wow.
It's doing extremely well.
Even with a budget of 180 million, doing 600 million plus in a couple of weeks is really good.
Yeah, when the movie first debuted, we were pretty high, right? Both of us were like saying 90 plus million opening, but it opened to about 75.
Yeah, and then it held up really well last weekend, and then it dropped off by a lot this weekend.
Well, like I said, it could be just this past weekend. Typically, the weekend after Thanksgiving, it's lower.
Right.
Yeah, but we're still talking about 18.5 million.
Yeah, I read somewhere it's just one book and they're splitting it into 5 movies.
No, that's what I thought at first, but it's just they're taking the book and then they're expanding it. They're building new stories out of it. So it's not like Peter Jackson where he mined even the appendixes.
Yeah, he mined the appendix and whatever he has.
Right. Yeah, unlike Peter Jackson, this is actually J.K. Rowling's creating new stories.
Oh, based on the first book.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's jumping off point, and then they're creating new stories based on it. Cause she's a source material show,
right.
So and she's actually writing the screenplay, so she has the power to do whatever she wants with it, and I think that's where they're going with this as well.
Right, and it's looking great for them.
Yeah. So it's a great decision for them. I mean, because Harry Potter, great lucrative franchise for Warner Brothers, but it's over. They couldn't really reboot it so soon, right? They're not Sony.
Right.
So J.K. Rowling has this other book, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and they're actually doing the smart thing. Instead of chop one book into 5 movies, they're actually creating new stuff out of it.
Yeah, which is more promising.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to number 3. Arrival. Like we said earlier, it held on really well. It made 7.3 million over the weekend. After 4 weeks of release, it has done 73 million on a budget of 47 million. Surprisingly, it added nearly 500 screens over the weekend. It's holding up really well. The drop-off is only 36%. Of the top 10 films, it held up the best.
Yeah, and it did this with adding screens.
Yeah.
Normally, when you add screen, there's some dilution going on.
Right. The worldwide figure is at 105 million. On about 47 million budget, that's pretty good, and it's still holding up pretty well, and it looks like it'll probably continue. It might get to 100 million.
Yeah, I said this might be this year's The Martian, but it didn't do The Martian's box office, but it kind of leggy like The Martian.
Right. And Amy Adams might get a nomination out of this. Might.
Well, there's a lot of good contenders coming up, especially in the Best Actress category.
Mhm.
There's always these indie movies where there's a showcase for these actresses. But who knows? Arrival is more mainstream
Yeah.
than the others, but who knows? The good thing is Meryl Streep is not in the running this year, so
Yeah, but
someone else might have a chance.
Yeah, Amy Adams is pretty close to that though. It seems like she gets nominated every year for whatever movie she's in, doesn't it? Even if she doesn't win, it seems like she's perpetually nominated for awards, which is pretty amazing.
Right, but you have to win one first.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, moving along is number 4, Allied, the Brad Pitt, Marion Cotillard romantic thriller, which takes place in World War II. We said that it might overtake Doctor Strange in the rankings, and it did. It pulled in 7 million, 45% drop off. 2 weeks, it pulled in 28 million, almost 29. But budget is kind of high at 85 for this kind of performance.
Yeah, the worldwide figure so far is 54 million. Right now, it's underperforming. At this current pace, it might lose money.
At least theatrically.
Yeah, at least theatrically. I think this movie might be released overseas slowly. It's not one of those day and date releases. So who knows? It has grossed 25 million so far overseas. It might do more. They might release it to more countries later. And Brad Pitt is pretty big overseas, so it has a chance. I think the overseas figure is not bad so far. Based on the number of territories, the limited number of territories that has been released so far. So it might be able to catch up, but hey, 85 million. It would need to do probably 170 million worldwide to break even, and now it's pretty far away from that.
Like you say, it hasn't been opened that wide yet,
Mhm.
and domestically it might not do that well here. But this movie is kind of like has all the elements to succeed overseas. It has Brad Pitt.
Right.
From the reviews I read, this movie looks great cinematically.
Right.
It's action packed as well, so the elements there for it to succeed.
Right.
So whether or not it will might be outside of its control.
Yeah. And the reviews were okay. I don't think it was great, right? The reviews were...
No. It was not that great.
Okay.
See,
60% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's kind of like barely fresh.
Yeah, but decent. It's decent.
Yeah, but decent. Yeah.
All right, then we'll see how well it will do in the overseas market, because that's the only way it would make it back its money.
Yeah.
All right, moving along to number 5, Doctor Strange. Still chugging along in its 5th weekend. It pulled in about 6.5 million, about 53% drop off. Domestic gross right now is 215, and the worldwide take is 634.
Wow. Yeah. So even at a budget of 165, it's already a very profitable film. Like you said, it continues to hold up week after week. So I think it might get to, it's at 635 million. It still has the potential to make it to 700, which is really good for the first film in the franchise.
Yep, and it's it's a movie that's hit by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Mm-hmm.
He's not known to open these huge movies, but hey, right now he's going to be locked in as Doctor Strange.
Yep, that's what he's going to be known as for a while. All right, let's move on to number 6, Trolls. It did 4.6 million over the weekend. The drop-off is pretty huge for a family film, 57%. But after 5 weeks of release, it has already grossed 141 million on a budget of 125 million. So, I mean, compared to, I guess if you compare Moana to Trolls, it held up pretty well. But Trolls, is definitely getting competition from Moana. Worldwide, Trolls is already at 306 million, so it's already a very profitable film for Fox. And we might see more of them.
Yeah, we will. We definitely will. Okay, let's move along to number 7. Hacksaw Ridge is the Mel Gibson directed war movie.
Mm-hmm.
Put in 3.4 million over the weekend, 38% drop off, and in 5 weeks it pulled in about 57 million. I think it's pretty decent.
Yeah, that's a decent figure.
Yeah, and this movie stars Andrew Garfield because outside of his Spider-Man movies, no one really know him.
Yeah, except for The Social Network. Yeah, so aside from his indie films, this is probably Social Network, this is probably one of his bigger films. And it's directed by Mel Gibson.
Yeah, like we said, this movie is Hollywood welcoming him back, finally forgiving him. So it's not just about Andrew Garfield. It's about Mel Gibson. We might see more of him working either in front of the camera or behind the camera in Hollywood.
Yeah, probably more behind the camera. It seems like as of late, also because of all those instances, and it seems like it's something that he enjoys doing more than acting now. Even before his incidents or aggressions, transgressions, he directed more films than he's acted in, and it seems like that's what he enjoys doing more. And so we'll probably
true, but yeah, and also I think it's because like the roles that he was accustomed to, like Mad Max, the Lethal Weapons, he got to the age where he couldn't do those anymore, and he doesn't have something to return to.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, before those films, I think most people consider him a pretty good actor. Not just an action star, even though as an action star, his films were commercial hits. He does have talent to rely on. Not like Arnold Schwarzenegger, where without his action films, he's kind of has nowhere else to go. Mel Gibson, can be a decent actor, but it seems like it's directing is what he likes to do more at this age.
Yeah, I guess. But it takes more out of you directing at his age. But I guess maybe, like I said, I think it's kind of like both, really. Like I said, he doesn't really have anything to return to, or a movie that he feels strongly about, or that he could be in a role. Mm-hmm. He's, sorry to say, kind of old now, right? Good roles are going to all these young guys.
Yeah. He's gonna have to play the father and the mentor, or more of a supporting character.
Yeah, right. So that's why we're going to see more of him, maybe like him in directing, maybe because he could influence the movie more.
Right.
All right, I guess enough about Mel Gibson. I'm pretty sure we'll be talking more about him with his next project. Moving along to number 8 is Bad Santa 2. It pulled in about 3.3 million over the weekend. In the second weekend, about 47% drop off. It didn't open well, and I think it's gonna be doing okay considering the budget's only 26 million. It's pulled in 14 million after 2 weeks. Not the commercial hit that the first movie is or was.
Right, but I think this could break even when they hit home video, because I'm sure there are fans of the original who will probably check it out on video, but might not, go out to the theaters. We've seen that happen in the past. Like there are sequels, there are films in sequels that underperform in theaters, but they make it all back on home video. Well, not all of it back, but they do better than expected on home video.
No, they make more than the theatrical gross. I mean, home video, and Bad Santa is one of those. I mean, people might not want to check it out at $10, like we said, but they might want to check it out for $5.
Right, or they might check it out when it's streaming on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon.
Right.
So at its current pace, it'll probably lose money theatrically, but it'll probably make all that back on home video.
Right. You scroll through the list, there's Bad Santa, hey, you watch that, and then there's Bad Santa 2 right after it.
Right.
If you don't know, hey, they actually made a sequel, let's watch it. So, there it goes. Alright, moving along to number 9. It's the new release over the weekend. The lone wide release, Incarnate. It's the horror movie starring Aaron Eckhart as a scientist who uses, basically goes into the mind of people who are possessed by creatures or demons or whatever, and try to exorcise them that way. And it pulled in about 2.7 million. Over the weekend, we said at best it could do 5, and kind of dipped below that. We weren't expecting anything from this movie, and it kind of performed where we had it. But the good thing is, these whole type of horror movies, it only cost $5 million.
Yeah, I'm surprised they were able to make it for so cheap. Especially starring Aaron Eckhart. You think someone like him would at least get 5 million already? But being a horror film, I guess they were able to make it for pretty cheap.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is?
What?
I think it only took a couple days of filming.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Yeah. They could have, given him maybe 4 million out of the 5 million and shot it in a couple days.
Right. Well, the interesting thing is, like as we said in the preview last week, is that this movie is directed by Brad Payton. You know, who did the San Andreas movie, the Journey movie, Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
So a couple Dwayne The Rock Johnson movies. Big hits, big hits.
Yeah, right. So he kind of went from those movies to kind of this one, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, it seems like he's made animated features, and then he went into action adventure and disaster movies, and now he's into horror. So he might be making a romantic comedy next.
It could be. It could be that he's trying to branch out, or
Yeah.
But like I said, it could be one of the case where they're in between jobs.
Yeah.
And this one came along, with a budget of 5 million for a couple of days of work, and there you go.
Right. And now that The Rock has been voted the sexiest man alive, a romantic comedy isn't too far-fetched.
True. Okay. All right. Well, The Rock has been and is in everything, right?
Yeah.
And all his movies right now seems to do pretty well.
Right.
Well received. Okay. Number 10. The Christmas theme movie, Almost Christmas. They pulled in 2.5. Like with the other movies in the top 10, huge drop off, 65% drop off. After 4 weeks, pulled in about 38 million domestic. Budget is 17.
Yeah, so it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, these type of movies kind of perform where we had it. We said it's going to close at around 40, 45, right?
Yeah. So it looks like you'll probably end up there, somewhere around there, after drive-ins and whatnot.
Okay, so that wraps up the top 10. Let's move to this week's new releases. We have 2 wide releases, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have the comedy Office Christmas Party, starring Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, among others.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is Miss Sloane, the drama thriller with Jessica Chastain.
Which one do you want to go with first?
Yeah, let's go with the big one, Office Christmas Party. It's a comedy released by Paramount Pictures, all-rated comedy about these people at a company who's throwing an office party.
Yeah, because their company's being shut down.
Are they?
Yeah, something like that. I think Jennifer Aniston is a CEO or some kind of figure that told him that their company's their department has been underperforming and they're going to be shut down, and they
okay.
Well, something like that, and they wanted to throw this Christmas party, and she's like, hey, you guys, no to the Christmas party because we don't have the budget for it, and they're doing it irregardless anyway.
Right. So, Jennifer Aniston's playing this disapproving head of this company who is against a Christmas party, right? And these people at the office, they're going to do it anyway, right? So it's another excuse for adults to behave badly, drink alcohol, and what have you.
Right.
You've seen the trailer. We've seen the trailer. And the way we describe it, it's kind of confusing. The movie's kind of confusing, I felt.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies where I think that it sounds funny on paper, but in execution, it just I don't know. It just doesn't seem there for me.
Yeah, I think it could be good because Jennifer Aniston has been in a bunch of these movies and they've all done pretty well. Jason Bateman as a supporting character in these kind of movies have also done well.
Right. Hey, weren't they in Horrible Bosses together though?
Yeah, so the two of them have been doing pretty well in these kind of movies. And now they add in Kate McKinnon and, a couple other, like Olivia Munn. So, Wendell Park is in it too. And it's nearing Christmas, so I think it can do pretty well. The trailer looks kind of fun to me.
Yeah, but, here's the thing, is like, it's kind of forced to me. It feels forced. I should be laughing at the trailer, but I'm not.
Oh, well, I laughed at a couple things. So.
All right.
And it's one of these things, like the other Jennifer Aniston movies post, was it the Horrible Bosses?
Mm-hmm.
Post those movies, I wasn't interested in them. I didn't think they would do well, but surprisingly, they've all done well. And
Yes,
Jason
that's the
Bateman
thing.
as
Yeah.
a supporting character has done well. But if he's like the biggest name in a film, then he doesn't seem to be able to draw an audience by himself. But as a supporting character, those films have done well. So I'm going with their track record.
Okay, so, and that track record is what number are you thinking?
25 to 35 million.
Holy moly!
I don't think people are sick of Jennifer Aniston in these kind of movies yet.
Okay, I think. Well, here's the thing, though, right? What you said is correct, right? Is that Jennifer Aniston, for some reason, her comedies does really well. I don't understand it, but they do really well.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Bateman, as you said, he couldn't open a movie by himself. He plays the supporting character.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and surprisingly, their team up works.
Right.
But I have to go with my gut feeling here. I don't think this movie is that funny, so I am thinking maybe 10 to 15 million.
10 to 15. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see, because Horrible Bosses 2 didn't do that well.
It did okay. Like it did 50, almost 55 million.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, that's domestic gross. Worldwide is 107, but the budget's kind of high, 42 million.
Oh, okay. I guess on Rotten Tomatoes the numbers are kind of off. They had it at 40 million.
Mm-hmm. But it's still a far cry from the first movie. It did half the business of the first movie.
Right.
Horrible Bosses, the first movie had a worldwide gross of 209.
Right.
The second movie only did 107.
Right.
That's those worldwide takes. So.
But in between those two movies, she did make Watermillers, and that did pretty well. We'll see how this one does. If this one doesn't open, then maybe she'll have to move on to other kind of comedies.
Right. I mean, if history is any judge, this movie will probably open to where your numbers is. But I'll just have to go with my gut.
All right. Okay. You're doing 10 to 15.
Yep. 10 to 15.
Okay, I'm doing 25 to. Did I say 35? That's kind of high, but I'm doing around 25.
25 million. All right. We'll come back next week to see who's right.
Okay.
Let's move along to Miss Sloane.
I saw the trailer. I don't quite get it. It's like some kind of, it's about politics. It's about gun control. It's about campaigning. The strategy of campaigning. And according to the trailer, that she's that hard edge. The way she speaks her lines, it doesn't seem like she has that nastiness in her. That I'll do anything to win.
Well, this movie, at least the trailer, did a very poor job of communicating what this movie is about.
Yeah, I have to say.
And who these characters are.
After I saw it, I'm like, I'm not really. I have no interest in seeing it.
It's not no interest. It's like you don't even know what this movie is about and who she's played. I mean, is she?
Yeah, exactly.
Supposedly, I have to go online to search for what this movie is about after watching the trailer because I'm confused. Like, supposedly she plays a lobbyist.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. A lobbyist. Yeah. That's about right.
Who uses I think techniques like bugging people's phones or blackmailing or whatever to get what she wants.
Right.
So the thing that they're trying to say is that she will do anything to win.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But like you say, her character seems like this hard-edged character that will do anything to win.
Yeah, and the thing with political thrillers, they're not huge commercial draws, most of them, and that's even when those films are like well marketed and they have trailers that are very obvious, where the story is very obvious. But this one, like you said, is confusing. Like your average person, wouldn't be able to figure out what the heck they just saw. Even people who are political junkies, might be kind of interested, but I'm not convinced by her. Sure, she's a great actress, but according to the trailer, the little clips that we have of her, she doesn't seem very convincing.
That too, but like I said, the problem is, what is this movie about? Who is she up against? The trailer doesn't really communicate that. supposedly she's up against the gun lobby, who had senators in the pockets, right? But
Yeah.
you can tell from the trailer, and she's on trial for what?
Yeah.
Supposedly there's a trial going on, but why?
Yeah. So it's very confusing trailer, kind of poorly marketed. So what's your number? I'm thinking like 3 million.
That's kind of where I had it as well. This movie had a limited release back in November 25th.
Oh, okay.
And it's getting a wide release now.
So how did it do back then?
I think it did okay-ish, right? Let me see. Oh, okay. So it kind of did opening weekend about 3 theaters, 59K.
That's pretty good.
Second weekend, it did pull in like 44K.
Oh, that's actually very good because it's holding on.
It is, but it dropped. The figure dropped.
Okay.
So from its debut weekend, it dropped about 26% in the second weekend.
Oh, that's not bad. 26% is a pretty good hold.
But it's in limited theaters, so that means normally when you get word of mouth or when you release in limited theaters, I mean you're gonna get more. But I don't see it with this movie.
Yeah, sure, it's limited, but that hold is still pretty good. From 59,000 per screen to 44,000 per screen. That's still a pretty good hold. The only thing is the reviews are pretty mixed. It's 63% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow, better review than I expected.
Oh yeah, better review than I expected too. And I think most of that is probably just based on the goodwill from Jessica Chastain's previous performances. Was she an Oscar winner?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure she's nominated.
Yeah, she's been nominated. And the reviews, surprisingly, said her performance was actually pretty good, Oscar worthy. Well, not according to the brief glimpses that we saw. For this kind of movie, 63% is pretty low, especially for a movie that's chasing awards. You gotta be in the the 80s to the 90s, and 63%. Unless you're Meryl Streep, it's pretty tough to win an award.
Right. So, okay. When we get down to it, we weren't that high on Miss Sloane.
Yeah.
I feel that it's a confusing movie. It didn't get its message across about what this movie is about, who these characters are, and I don't see any noise from this movie. Maybe she will get nominated,
Right. And it seems like the Oscar or prognosticators and indie film buffs went to see it in its limited release, but I think it's going to be another one of those films that, despite doing pretty well or solid numbers, limited, when it goes wide, it's just going to disappear. Well, that's what I see with this anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen our share of movies, and this one is just like I say, it's a complete miss. I felt.
Right. Well, we haven't seen the movie yet. We just we're only basing it on the trailer, and sometimes trailers.
I know, but hey, we know enough. Sometimes we're wrong, but I think sometimes.
But according to the trailer and according to the reviews, it doesn't look promising.
No, not at all. And of course, of note, La La Land is releasing limited as well. It's gonna make some noise. With these various awards.
Right. It's at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a musical. It's getting a lot of hype from the film festivals. So yeah, like you said, we'll probably be hearing a lot more about this than Miss Sloane in the coming weeks.
Right. Right. All right. So still kind of like a hangover from the Thanksgiving holidays.
Mm-hmm.
The box office wise, I mean, even though the bigger movies did pretty well, held up quite well.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see a return next weekend.
Yeah. It depends on how. Oh yeah, the next weekend when Rogue One Star Wars story comes out. But
that thing.
Yeah, that thing. So this weekend is more of the calm before the storm, and we'll see. It might be Christmas party. What is it? Office
Christmas party.
Yeah, Office Christmas party might do well, or it might just or maybe it might just do okay.
Yeah, according to you, it might be the number one movie this weekend.
Yeah, according to me.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Right. Okay, all right. We'll see if you're right with the Office Christmas Party. That the Jennifer Aniston pairing with Jason Bateman continues to work its magic.
Yeah, and according to you, Moana will repeat.
All right.
So we'll see who's right next week.
All right. We'll come back next week and find out.